Very traditional, Texan the Parallel City Max Potion. So this could be a really unique matchup, and it looks like we're underway.
Yeah, I mean they've got going clean to just keep going. These are players at 4-0, no losses, just wins for these guys. So really smart start, and starting with a Lele over on Christopher's side, obviously.
Both sides have a...
Starting with the Lele and the Bridget from the hand.
That's always convenient to have that Bridget right there up front, to search out for it, and just right there for you, right at the start. It's always convenient.
I mean, usually you just Lele for the Bridget.
Exactly.
But this time it's right there.
Yeah, so I'm assuming he's probably going to go, the traditional route of going 2 zeros and Wind Pads and a Wind Pod. And it looks like right now he's doing his little prize check, seeing where his 1-ofs are, things like that.
Yep.
To kind of just...
The 2-0 and the Wind Pod are on the top, and one of those players that just has to know what's in the prizes, particularly when you've got those 1-ofs in the deck, and in particular the DCEs, I think, is what you really want to count. Count your energies in this one.
See the Zura Wind Pod about to go to bench after he's done shuffling, and after that, it's probably going to be maybe an energy attachment, probably a grass to Wind Pod, or just a pass, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, unless he goes back in with something like an Ultra Ball to grab something, no need. Not even the energy, though. That could be indicative of what he has in hand.
Luckily, the deck is primarily a single attachment deck through all his attackers, so it's not necessary, but it's definitely helpful if you can get at least the grass down.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have that grass down, be able to evolve it into a Glycopod. If you Guzma it in, then you're just ready to go. And if you do need to do something with your hand, you had that in the bank already.
Exactly.
It's very rare, I think, for a deck like Kids to be able to deal with those energies being put down. You just don't have room for the hammers.
So this matchup is going to be really interesting in that Chris has to be careful with how many Zorks he puts down, because of the Weavile that Kid Stark has on his side of the field, or soon to see, hopefully. But that Weavile, what it does 50 damage times all abilities on your opponent's side of the field. So if there's 2 Lele's and 2 Zork GXs, that's 200 damage.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to add it up.
For 1 Dark Energy.
That's insane.
On a 90 GX Pokemon. Like, that's baffling.
I mean, you think about it, everyone plays a Lele. So you're guaranteed 50 for your Dark Energy. And then if you look at the cards in the metagame right now, as you mentioned, Zoroark. Yep, that's giving it up.
Yep.
Even some of the other ones. Garboda's an interesting one because, yes, it does have an ability, but it turns all the other abilities off.
We saw that earlier today when between Aaron and Pramawad, and had that unique thing where once Aaron put the Garbodor up, all the other abilities, they're gone. Like they said, the text is still there, but it's gone. So you only get the 50 damage from Garbotoxin. So very interesting little back and forth right there between the cards. But looks like he does get a Gliscopod out, and he's Ultra Balling, is, eyeing that Zork GX to kind of get his deck up and running now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Chris's side of the field, he's really got off to the flying start. He's picked up a Gliscopod, turn 2. He's got a Zoroark, turn 2. And even though his hand didn't appear to contain an energy, he's just going to be able to N in this one. So pretty much what you want to see, I think.
Exactly.
He just needs a way to get that Gliscopod into the active and get an energy on it, and then he can start putting big damage down on the Tapu Lele that Kid has stuck in the active.
So he only plays 1 Floatstone, which is a traditional, 1 count of you see in these decks, because you have 4 Guzma plus the puzzle time. So if he hits that, and maybe some more Zork GXs, we could definitely see some, nice plays here coming forward.
Yeah, I mean, he'd love to hit it right now to get that Tapu Lele out of the active, but it is a bit of a stretch. We do see him pick the Grass Energy up, which he's going to need for the first impressions, but, he's definitely mulling over his decisions now.
See, the cool thing about his deck is always you play multiple counts of the cards, you just like having extra ups, and there it is.
Yeah, the trade, the Field Blower going away, and we do see the first card off the trade.
First card off the trade.
Lodestone, so he's got to be feeling a whole lot better right now.
I would opt to go. He has a DCE also, but I would opt to go with the Gliscopod. But it looks like he's going for the Riotous Beating here.
Yep, well, Lodestone does get him out. He's got a nice, healthy bench. And, yeah, Rizzuto should just pop down the Riotous Beating, get damage down on that Tapu Lele.
Very interesting. So I'm trying to see his hand here, him being Stark, and it's kind of hard to see what he has going on. I see 3 Dark Energy, there's a Rainbow Rare, maybe a Lele, but I'm curious what his thoughts are right now, what his play is.
Yeah, I mean, he got his bench set up early on, but now he needs to keep up, I think, and that's always going to be an ask. Everything that Chris wanted, he hit on that turn.
Yep.
And when you look at Kid's deck, or Kid's bench at least, yeah, he's got the ability to get going now, but it's, it's still only going to be Zoroarks. He's still going to need to find a float stone of his own. He's still gonna. He's got a lot to do as well.
Yep, he has a lot of pieces to find, and between trade and hopefully the draw support in his hand. So I see a mistake a lot of players make is they go for the turn one Bridget, but then what? And you got to how to play that next step to make sure you're ready for the following plays. So let's see what his next play is here.
Yep, I mean he's got a pretty interesting hand. The exact same thing. Trade away the field blower and see what you get, but he picked up 2 more Pokemon in that instance.
I saw one Weavile. Couldn't tell what the other Pokemon was. So we do see a Wonder Tag going down. Yep,
this is another Wonder Tag though. He's just desperate to get something in hand, I think, to help him draw out.
I think we'll see a Cynthia here. Acerola. I like that play, actually. I believe he has a DC in hand. Acerola gets the Lele back in, and you can use it again for support next turn. So I can respect that play.
Yeah, that's a really smart play, actually. Get all of your damage basically off the field, and then be able to deal with it. So Tapu Lele comes up. He gets Zoroark comfortably into the active. And as you mentioned, Wonder Tag is available if he needs a draw support. So that was my one concern, that he was going to be stuck without one and just swing in.
And we do see a Sneasel going to the bench, so Weavile could be here and ready to move once come this next turn.
Yep, well, the 80 damage moved literally to the other side of the field. Not a problem. Or 100, actually.
100.
My apologies. I forgot to add the active in there. But, again, both players just kind of no one jumping into that early leads.
So, this is very interesting because between this and Expanded, Expanded, you can stop one's abilities. In Standard, if you're playing a Zoroark Mirror, you're letting them trade regardless. There's no stopping that. So this is going to be a pretty aggressive matchup throughout this best-of-3 game.
Yeah, I mean, they're always going to be sat with full hands. And it will maybe come down to a late-game N. We know that's always powerful to hit them with a late-game N. But with the addition of Cynthia, you're not always out. You can still shuffle draw for a solid 6.
So we see Acerola and a Guzma off the double puzzle. So this is going to be a fun little interesting trade going on here.
Yep, there it is. Another instance of basically, just ace rolling that damage away, that 100 from a Riotous Beating, and going again.
So I'm curious if he, I don't think I saw it, but he could have traded before the Acerola, then benched the Zoroark back down and get a second trade in there. So that's maybe something we can see later in the future for him. But we do see a DC come down on the Zoroark, eyeing another Riotous Beating.
Yep, I mean, he's just keeping those DCs on the Zoroarks. That's where he wants to deal the damage. Interesting to see another Ace Roller and Wimpod off that trade.
The difference between these lists, I know the Zoroark probably plays a couple extra Acerola because it's a little more defensive to where this Weavile deck wants to hit you pretty hard once you start benching your abilities. But it looks like Chris is kind of holding back on that. He only has 2 abilities on the field right now, and I think he's eyeing that he knows what Weavile does and the true strength of that card if you overcommit to abilities. So I think he's kind of playing to that strength right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's keeping only one Zoroark ready to go. I mean, he's seen the Sneasel on the bench. He can't commit to just flooding his bench with trades and allowing him to get hit for what would be 200 damage now. He can't allow that. So smart play, probably well played with the Ace Rollers.
Yeah.
Will maybe want to double puzzle later, but he's going to be able to draw through his deck.
So I wonder if we're going to see another Acerola here on Stark's side. Still searching his deck right now currently, but I think another Acerola would be a real solid call right now.
Yeah, you don't want to leave that in just to take more damage. It's such an important part. And he also has the Zoroarks ready to go, just ready to put the Zoroark back down on it, right on those Zoruas. Perfect.
And we actually see a Guzma.
Ooh.
So curious what the target's going to be here. I'm assuming maybe a Zoroark on the Zoroark bench. One big thing with these Zoroark mirror matches is to eliminate as many Zoroarks as possible.
The Guzma's what he takes off the Tapu Lele.
Yes.
So no immediate need to play it, but you wouldn't take it if you weren't ready for it.
Okay. We do see a Weavile going down. That is the new Weavile that we were mentioning earlier that does the 50 damage times all your opponent's abilities in their side of the field.
Yep. There's the Guzma, so Golisopod being pulled into the active, making it, I don't want to say useless, but infinitely less effective.
See Dark Energy, do we see a choice band to kind of put him into 2-shot range?
We'll see the trade.
Justin Miranda Radborn from Canada.
I'm curious what the Rainbow Energies are for. I do see a unique card in here, and I'm kind of curious what his reasoning is behind that. He has a Shining Genesect in this list, and I'm really curious on What's that for? Like, I guess liking Rock GX, but it's really interesting how he uses that. I'm hoping we can see it maybe in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's the full definition of what people call a tech.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say it's, you know, it's literally only there for 1 or 2 matchups, and with these Zoroark decks, you're just so free to do it. I know everyone talks about it. They say, hey, you know, Zoroark's great because I can put in techs and I can just trade them when I don't need them. The 3 Bridget is ridiculous unless you remember, hey, I'll trade them away.
Exactly. That's what we're going over in the match previously about someone playing Evo Soda. And Evo Soda kind of the same way. Once you have your Zoroark set up, Evo Soda is just trade fodder after that. So
yeah, I mean, it's basically an easy and reliable way to thin your deck. I mean, Kid losing his first Pokemon of the game as we talk about these Zoroarks. It is one of those Zoroarks, so 2 prizes going over to Christopher. You do have to wonder if picking up that Guzma was the right play off that Tapu Lele.
I'm really liking how Chris is playing right now because he is not playing any of the Zoroarks. Like we mentioned earlier, like he's fully aware of what Weavile can do, and he's just working with the one Zoroark, and it's doing work right now. It's doing his job.
Yeah, he doesn't need to like put too much pressure on it though, because as soon as he get pressured, Ace Roller. He's already pulled 1 out of his discard. He's already puzzled for it once, so he's probably sat at that 2, maybe, I mean, like a pseudo 3 mark, which is, I mean, in a deck of this nature, that's actually quite a lot of Ace Roller.
Yeah.
This isn't a deck dedicated to it, so it's a fair count.
I'm curious we'll see any Zoroark builds in the future with maybe a one-off Pal Pad just to keep that chain alive so much. Because you could puzzle back Pal Pad to Pal Pack back more Acerolas and so on and so forth. For those who don't know what Pal Pad does, it's a new item card from the Ultra Prism set, and it lets you shuffle back 2 supporters from your discard pile to your deck.
I mean, this is the crazy thing about Pal Pad, and I think a lot of people, I don't want to say have overlooked it, but you know, when people double puzzle, how many times do you see them grab 2 supporters? You can now do that in 1 card.
Yes.
That's insane.
It definitely is a powerful card that we haven't seen yet on stream, but I'm sure they are in lists out here in this field today.
Well, I think a lot of players still a little bit uneasy with the Ultra Prism cards, maybe wanting to take them to a League Cup, a League Challenge before they debut them here at Regionals.
A lot of people like to see a meta develop before they establish cards they like and what kind of decks they like. So today is definitely going to be one of those days. It's one of the first tournaments. So seen a lot of intricate decks today, and one's on stream right now in the form of Weavile.
I mean, Weavile was something that was, as I said, talked about, but it was never, I don't think it was ever bought as, you know, the hottest card in the format, and seems to be holding its own. I mean, you can't deny it's in a good position. Looks like so new, even the judge wants a peep at it.
It's definitely, a lot of people did their top 5 cards from the set, and Weavile was not anyone's radar, and it's in the hands of a lot of respectable players here today. So it's definitely earned its merit.
I know people went nuts for Leafeon, and I'm not seeing that either. So.
Yes, I have not seen one Leafeon deck.
No Glaceon.
I've not seen any Glaceon decks at the top tables, but there's a lot of other interesting decks, and I hope we get to feature them later on today.
I'm sure we will. I mean, you know that there are players out there who are just going to bubble up to the top and take a fantastic, deck into the spotlight.
Both are going to work.
So we just saw a trade again from Chris, and I'm curious what his plays right now. I'm sure he's going to take the knockout here on the Weavile. Weavile only have a 90 HP. But what's the play for Kid now? He looks a little behind. He only has one Zoroark out.
I think that I genuinely can't see anything special for him in this game. I mean, he's going to be able to trade and, But what is he trying to get off the trade now? He's lost a Weavile. He's lost a Zoroark already. I don't want to say behind, but it's thin. It's thin on the ground. He's only got 1 Zorua on the bench.
He needs a lot right now. He has to, typically when you get to those low counts in his Zoroark mirror, it's an Acerola game after that point. And right now it's more in Chris's favor. He plays 1 extra than Kid does, and I believe Kid's already used his. So we just got to see how it plays out here in these next couple turns.
I mean, we saw Kids very early on actually to get that Tapu Lele out. So unless we see the puzzle play to get it back in, it's not going to happen. It's not happening right now, and you have to go through a lot of turns of trading to sometimes hit those double puzzles.
All right, so Kid has just played to end. He's going to 6 with Chris going to 3. And with 2 trades on the board, I'm sure Chris is not nervous at all about to end.
No. Yeah, but now he's got rid of the Weavile. He can just flood his bench.
Now you can load up.
Ooh, that's is that an Ultra Ball? It's teasing me. He's turning it over.
So he has a Rainbow, so he can attack with Zora can active this turn. He also has access to Trickster GX. I'm not sure what that will help with this turn. Maybe like an armor press, or you could maybe use a crossing cuts. I believe you could use any of your opponent's attacks. So curious how he's going to play this turn.
Yeah, I mean, Kid needs to get big damage down. There is a lot of damage on two Pokemon on Christopher's side. But then, you know, I think he's just in a position to keep swinging with the Zoroark and the currently injured Zorua, and kind of keep that pressure up.
So he's not in a bad spot with, you know, how much damage there is on board. So if he can just hold on, we can bring this game a little bit closer. And it looks like he is going to do Riotous Beating for the knockout, because I believe it's 110 damage from earlier.
Yeah, it's with the choice band.
With the choice band, it should be enough.
There. No, I'm certainly interested to see how these games go in you know, over the course of a best of 3, because they've reached this point in the game where their benches are quite content, they're quite full, and they're just swinging for knockouts just over and over. There's no real exchange here, and as you mentioned, the Ace Roller game is in Christopher's favour very, very strongly. See him looking through the discards, so knows what he's fishing for and knows what he can't get.
Trying to ice in here. Looks like the Ultra Ball's away. Can't tell what Pokemon that is. I think it's a Cynthia or a Guzma behind that. He's eyeing a Lele Cynthia player right now.
Yeah, it looks to be an Ultra Ball giving away a Glisopod. If you look at the
I can see it now. Yep.
There it is. He does go for the Tapu Lele Wonder Tag. Grab his Cynthia, so, you know, there's one of those new adaptations of Ultra Prison. Really kind of smart, I think, that's an endgame card now. He's been end. He did just have enough together to get a fresh hand, and his fresh hand is exactly what he needed.
I absolutely love Cynthia right now. The card is amazing in the format. It gives numerous other decks fighting chance, really. You know, I know Garbodor decks have had its, you know, up and down, and this little roller coaster of a meta right here in Standard right now. But Cynthia gave it a fighting chance, and you know, we saw it on stream earlier with Aaron Pilot and SP on Garb, and it's a very solid card for the format right now.
Well, there's so many cards as well that, you know, you want to be keeping around. You want to be doing well with later game. Your Field Blowers, for example, and the notion of getting rid of them with an early Professor Sycamore is gut wrenching.
Yes,
almost.
Exactly. Alright, so he's going through this right now. I'm guessing he did not find the DCE he wanted. If he did not find that, that's actually a rough spot to be in right now with how he only has 10 damage on the other side of the board on that Zoroark GX. So he needs to find a DCE and put the damage on right now if he has the ability to.
Yeah, he definitely wants to keep up the pressure, and, you know, looking at the prize counts, you know, there is going to need to be 2 knockouts for both of them, realistically. You know, GX
that's just a pass.
And something else. Missing the energy means, you know, I don't think Kid's in a bad position now, because
exactly. He's a Guzma DCE away from being right back in this game.
Oh, most certainly. And the big thing here is that they were both just continuously exchanging 120s, 150s, all of those big numbers that allow for the 2 hits. You really fall behind if you miss one of those.
So I'm trying to see if I can see Kid's hand here. If he has a DCE Guzma play to knock out Dude Glisopod on bench. But we could see another, you know, 80 to 110 damage on the Zoroark and active him. Kind of keep the pressure that way. You can only Acerola 1 Pokemon per turn, so the damage will still stick.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to keep it spread around, otherwise it just gets lifted up. The one thing I would say for Christopher is I've not seen anything out of these Glysopods, and it feels like they could have been used. They're a prime target for the Ace Roller plays. They really, really are. Because you want to be switching them around so much.
I feel like you should, like, in any kind of Zoroark kind of mirror, in a sense, whether it's Lycanroc or Weavile, if you have Glisopod in your deck, I would prioritize Glisopod, because you want to keep your trades. That's what wins the mirrors. I have more trades to you. You get enemy, but it's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, it's taken damage and now it's sat on the bench. Ideally, you want to take the damage, have it in the active. He's in a better position now because he has the second Wimpod to put it down on to another first impression.
Oh, this is the big turn. He did get the Guzma, and there's the DCE. And he put another Zorua down with the Sneasel. This is a big turn point for Kid.
Yeah, Kid's taken advantage of that one turn without taking any damage. And I think he's about to start pushing Christopher around a little bit because of it.
So many targets on board now. There are 3 Pokemon now with abilities, which is about to go back down to 2 once he knocks out his... No, wait, no. 3 was still on board because Glisopod doesn't have an ability. So that Weavile's looking at a Lele the following turn.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it needs to win the game, really, isn't it? It's as long as he can hit the right things, get a choice band on there, and grab one of those, problem solved.
There's an Espeon EX in the play, too. Lots of different concepts in his deck. It's like a dark toolbox deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart deck to be playing around. We do see, a nice Guzma switch up from Kid there, get that heavily damaged Golisopod in, and there's not much it can do right now. The big thing as well is if this Golisopod gets knocked out, it's in the discard. That Wimpod's then just not doing anything.
So did he attach another... Oh, the choice being attached to the bench Zork. Okay. All right, so now we're back to an even game, 2-3 prize game. What is Chris looking for here to put himself back on top of this matchup?
Honestly, at the end of this game, he needs to potentially try and stall something out a little bit here. But I don't see anything on the bench for Kid that's particularly easy to stall out.
Everything is either one retreat or is an attacker that he wants active.
Right.
So there's nothing really you can stall out in this matchup. So it's...
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a Lele and he'll just retreat.
Dark Energy retreat, anything like that. So really interesting spot right now. But let's see if he hits the DCE, which it looks like, right there, the 6th card.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be getting these attacks down, but you just can't afford to lose the game because of it.
You're not ending Kid that turn, and he's potentially about to get a 3rd Zork GX out. I'm sure he's going to find everything he needs to solidify this game next turn.
Well, if he can't find it, he's got 2 trades to look for it.
Exactly.
Those 2 trades, though, I mean, you don't think about it that much, and yes, you give up 2 cards, but you gain 4 cards.
Yes.
Discard 1, draw 2 has always been a strong mechanic. I remember diving draw before this. Everyone thinks, it's a lot to give up, but it's really not as you play the game.
Especially how cards are now. A lot of people play the extra cards for consistency, but once you use their role, you don't need them anymore. So trade is an incredible ability right now in the standard format.
Yeah, I mean, 2 trades available now for Chris. Knowing that the Weavile is going to just be knocking things out, you may as well commit to it and let it happen, I guess.
So 130 damage coming on to this active Zork GX. Let's see if Kid pulls all the nuts and bolts to pull this game off right now.
Yep, I mean, all he needs is Guzma,
Oh, well, we're about to be right on cue.
Yep, he's got the Weavile,
I'm sure he has Choice Band in hand. Oh.
Here we go, yep.
200 damage right there.
There it is.
That's not knockout, actually.
Oh, is he?
Oh, wait, Wimpod. Wimpod has an ability. That puts it to 250.
Oh!
Forgot about the Wimpod.
That is such a good call that
Incredible.
it has the back out ability. And that was...
Oh my goodness. So that goes back to that Golisopod knockout. He could not evolve. That is... Wow, I did not see that one coming. We were thinking a whole different route to that victory.
You never look at the basic and think, yeah, that's got an ability.
Yeah.
It's Runaway, I believe, is it not?
Something like that.
Wimp
Wimp out.
Wimp out, yeah.
That's incredible.
That's nuts, though. And I mean, it's easy to say when you're not at the table, but wow. I never thought Wimpod would cost somebody the game.
What I liked a lot about that game, Kid never, budged. He was down 6-3, and he I know my path to victory still. Let me catch up back into this. He was able to pull it out, and Weavile showing what Weavile does.
I mean, yeah, this is a card that I don't think many people have been overjoyed with or, too enthused about. And with that in mind, you just say, hey, it just did 250 damage to close the game.
For a single Dark Energy.
1 Dark Energy, 250 damage.
That is insane right now.
That sounds like a clickbait title to me.
Yeah.
It's one of those, all the damage in turn 1.
Yeah.
1 energy, 250, and you look at, oh yeah, that's actually, technically it can go up to 300.
Yeah.
That's by the by.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah, that was an amazing. I did not see that play come as far as not noticing the Wimpod on bench, but yeah, no, great comeback from Kid, and I look forward to a great game too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the play has to be a little different, and I don't know if I was in Christopher's shoes. Yes, he was conservative about using abilities, but it still cost him in the end.
Still cost him in the end.
He wasn't able to keep up.
Yep.
As you mentioned, the trade game is important. You've got to trade, and he was trading less than Kid.
I think you still prioritize putting your Zork GX out there. That thing that would cost him missing that DCE, that key turn where he didn't put damage on the board, and just go after the Sneasels, because that is your threat. You can Ace Arolla any other damage because it's not significant, but a Weavile knockout is very significant.
Yeah, because they've also got a 1 prize attacker in the active. It's It's a card I'm definitely interested to see more of.
Yes.
100%. So
And I'm glad to see it across the top tables today, so we can probably see a little bit more of it.
yeah, players just shuffling up now for those of you curious. Having a good shuffle, making sure that they're ready for game 2. Lengthwise, pretty, I'd say, steady pace.
Yeah, no.
But still took a large amount of the time. We're a little
Yeah.
over halfway as we
Halfway,
start.
And there it is.
Yeah, the shining Genesect, ready to go, ready to rumble.
So I wonder if there was a mulligan on Kid, because Sneasel has a very unique attack to where if it's in the active and you go second, you can attach energy to it and discard any energy on your opponent's side of the field, but only if you go second.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a very unique attack, but yeah, I'm getting the head nod there, and there was a mulligan that turn, which is why it was not active. But yeah, that's a very unique attack right there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great to have available to you, especially knowing you would be going second. Like, there's no way that Christopher doesn't take the opportunity to play first, so you just punish him for that. We do see him making those regular plays. Lele into the Bridget, and oh, no.
He is prioritizing the Zoroarks this time. He
Yep.
said, I missed my trades, I need them. I want to make sure I get this ball rolling right this time.
Yep, 3 Zoroarks there, and it's time for the prize check. Go in, see what's in there, see what's not, and sit yourself in good standing. We do see him actually pull Tapu Koko.
I like that, because now you can just whip out into it and get a little extra fluff from the Cocoa spread. So I definitely like that play a lot.
Yeah, it's actually it's nice as well that you could be able to leave it in the active for next turn. Then you can free retreat it and pull it out. I think something that I don't want to say threw Chris off last game was that he ended up on that odd number of prize counts. So all of the ones that he gave up were quite literally 2 prizes.
Yep.
And Kid was never behind because of that. I feel even when Chris was up 3-6, as soon as 2 prizes came Kid's way, they were even. They still had to take 2 more knockouts.
That's the troubling thing whenever you give up a single prize attacker such as Weavile or, Coco in this sense. It's still, while you are down 5 prizes, you still, in the long run, have to take, 3 more knockouts still regardless. So, but we do see a Bridget on Kid's side. I'm just going to go 3 Zoroarks here and just kind of get his consistency ready to roll.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to. He's got a Sneasel, which is a much smaller line in the deck than some of the others. He's got his Shining Genesect ready to go, which I don't think is going to be a huge concern, but it would still be nice to try and, let's say, handle something like the Lycanroc, but not running into it now, just playing against another grass type.
So I do see a second Weavile, Sneasel coming down, so I think, Kid knows the merit of having both out for this matchup because of how many abilities come down. I'm curious though, so on his list, there's a Zoroark break in his deck, so this is truly like a dark box deck, and I'm very excited about the list and how it's been painting out so far for him.
Yeah, I think both these decks are exciting in their own kind of unique ways. I mean, we've seen Zoroark Golisopod for a while now, but I mean, it's still showing up. It's still making appearances at the top tables, and I think a lot of players in my conversations as I venture into the TCG, it wasn't one of the most talked about decks. It was sort of overlooked a little bit. I don't know if that's the same in every circle, but yeah, it was limited.
Everyone want to try the new stuff, and and sometimes you kind of forget like what has had success in the past. So, yeah, definitely. And I ripped the deck off also, so I'm guilty of saying that also. So,
have you been talking trash about Golisopod in your private time?
I give it an occasional nudge every once in a while, but I'm definitely pro Lycanroc. I played that majority of the season once it came out, and yeah, so.
I understand. Some pro Weavile now. Pro Weavile.
I might have to pick up some Weaviles from my local car stores now. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, fantastic vendors here this weekend. Yeti Gaming.
Yeti Gaming's here. Yep.
Pick them up. There's always a time to be in the need for singles. So
exactly.
Fantastic places to grab cards there as well. And there's so many other cool decks. But for Weavile to make this splash is exciting. Both players, I'd say, playing the same game right now. Fill your bench, get your Zoroarks out, and put yourself in a position to draw 6-8 cards a turn.
I just love seeing these unique ideas like brought to fruition here, like Weavile, we saw earlier, Espeon Guard with the new unit energy. Everyone's doing all these intricate things, and I really like it. But I do like seeing old reliable Zoropod over there. So lots of different things going on.
Yeah, I mean, even if you take a new twist on a classic, just something in those Cynthias can make decks run so differently.
Yes.
I say particularly some of these decks, you know, just keeping your resources around is really nice.
So we see a Dark Energy go down to a Sneasel and a Cynthia. I know he's looking for his one other Floatstone to get that Genesect back active. That Genesect is not going to do much as matchup at all, if anything. It might be able to do Gaia Blaster later on for some awkward number. I don't know. It's his deck. Let him figure out the numbers.
But you Shining Genesect. But again, I mean, we say this. Would it be the worst thing letting him knock it out? Yeah, it's a prize, but it puts him on the odd prize numbers.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's exactly what he did in the first game.
So we could see it come here later in the later turns. But we do just see it pass, and it's over to Chris's side now.
Yeah, he needs it knocked out, or, you know, just out of the active. And I think Chris is okay to maybe give him this turn and potentially the next with it in the active before then he has to start saying something.
I wonder if they're just going to kind of just wait until they're both set up to make a move, because, you know, I don't want to, you know, have to force Guzma if I'm Kid, but at the same time, I don't want to knock that out because then I start getting hit by Weavile and Zoroark. So I wonder if he's just going to kind of just, all right, I evolve, pass, attach, pass, and we'll see a little bit of that for a little bit because of this weird stalemate with Shining Genesect.
But it's there and it's buying Kid time, and it's so if
which doesn't hurt.
If it's buying Kid time to set up, why can't Krista take advantage of it? I think it's such smart play, but then I imagine when we reach boiling point, they're just going to start smacking each other for 150 a go.
I think the big thing here too is, but Chris does need to make a move here. Because you gotta remember, this is a best of 3, and in game 1, if you take game 1 and there's not a conclusion to game 2, it goes to the winner of game 1.
Right. I mean, we're down. We've spent 7 minutes or so getting this game built in and working through that. So you've really got to pick it up if you're Christopher. He's got to get that. And another reason I think, hey, it wouldn't be so bad for that Shining Genesect to be just buying time for Kid, because he knows he's got the upper hand right now. Kid's
like doing a lot of cool stuff like right now. He's kind of splitting up his Dark Energy, so at any time it turns these double attach, you know, minus DC, but like Zoroark can use 2 Darks, and not just another single attachment away. Gives him a little more, you know, variety in with his energy in the later rounds. Later turns.
I mean, making sure that your Weaviles have the energy to go so they can kind of explode at any given moment is huge. At the moment, yeah, it's only doing 50.
And another pass from Chris.
This isn't looking so peachy for Chris. I hate to say it, but another turn without a Zoroark in play is bad when we see 2 in play already from Kid.
So this is going to be interesting. So, you know, at some point, if you want to use Genesect, you could attach DCE, and I'm pretty sure you can use the Energy Reload, where you can move a Grass Energy from one Pokemon to another Pokemon. And Rainbow counts as Grass, because it's one of every type. And I'm pretty sure, look up the rules if I'm wrong, but you can move that Rainbow up to the active Shining Genesect and attack with it. And I think that's where that roll kind of comes in.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see if that comes to fruition, particularly for Kid here, because that would be a big way to get some early damage out, maybe pick up the knockout on this Tapu Koko. It's only sat on 110. Only. Which I know sounds pretty crazy, but, you know, you have Gaia Blaster with 3 energy, and you're there. You're on for a knockout.
Do see the Guzman, I think, is finally going to come alive here. The first attack of the game. Yes, we do see a Guzman up on a Tapu Lele with Zoroark coming active.
I'm interested to see him target down the Tapu Lele, because he actually wants those to stick around.
Yeah.
So his damage from the Weavile is actually bigger late game.
Yeah, that is interesting. I might have taken out... Oh, he just did Trickster GX to copy Crossing Cut GX to knock out the Tapu Lele.
That's naughty.
That is insane. Wow.
I mean, he has the bench to swing, but hey, why not copy Crossing Cut? You've got the energy for it.
We do need to see a GX marker flipped over, if that is the attack he used.
Yeah, well, I mean,
if the judge can catch that, or
the fact of the matter, he GX'd with his Trickster. It is called Trickster GX. So if Kid could maybe mark that one, that'd be great. But we will keep you updated on the progress of that counter. Really smart play for him there, though, to pick up that knockout. And in this game, it's Kid really in the driving seat.
He puts the Shining Genesect back active after he Crossing Cut GX.
Well, I mean, why not? It's been
working fine.
It's been a loyal servant to him, to be honest, up in the front. So why not? He gets another 4 now off his end, but he's got 2 trades.
He has 2 trades. He has a Weavile. Kid's Kid's sitting in the chair eating some popcorn right now. He's just kind of waiting for everybody to come to him.
This is the problem: is if Christopher wants to get back in this game, he kind of has to explode and get all his Zoroarks out.
Yep.
If he does that, he allows Weavile to knock everything out. It's very, very unfun.
So this is a dangerous spot for Chris to be in right now, and I'm curious what's going through his mind right now. What's the strategy? What's the play to get back into this game? So I guess he's going to fly and flip a couple turns and maybe try to cross and cut his way back into this game.
Yeah,
or sorry, first impression.
Yeah, he's got to fly and flip, get some damage down, and soften things up. So when he does finally get Golisopod into the active, hey, guess what? I can start getting knockouts.
I think this Tapu Koko is actually about to go down. I see a float stone in Kid's hand, and I'm sure we're going to see a Ridus beating here any second after the knockout.
Yeah, that's not going to trade, of course, first. Picking up a couple more cards, new Pokemon, new Ultra Balls, if he wants to finish anything off. Just solid drawing. That is both his trades, though, but his hand's not exactly slim.
Oh, he has Guzma in hand, so okay, so he's just going for the Koko knockout because that's the only thing that's really going to catch Chris back up in his game currently.
But the other thing as well is, he's going to take the Koko knockout here, and there's only one Pokemon that can really stand up. I mean, Christopher's bench is getting thin very, very quickly, and he cannot afford to just keep losing these Pokemon. You're
just kind of seeing the pressure of Weavile right now because I'm sure Chris have numerous times where he could have just played his Zoroark GX, but was probably hesitant to do so. But at this far behind now, I don't think he has a choice. He has to go start getting these GXs out.
Yep, they need to be there because he needs cards. He needs to be trading every single turn. So I'd be impressed to see if it comes to fruition. Weavile's getting a little buff there as the Tapu Lele comes down.
Yep, there's an extra 50 right there.
Well, it's his first 50 of the game. No, no Wimpods this time.
And there's an N. So I can't tell if that's 3 or 2 prizes on Kid's side. I believe that's 2. It's a little awkward angle right there.
I believe it's actually more. I think
it's 3.
The only thing it's the 3. Yeah, it's the Tapu Koko and the Lele from the crossing cut knockout.
Yep, so it is 3 prizes.
3 is not unobtainable right now. I mean, not at all.
I don't think he's worried with 2 trades and his board essentially set up. Kid's feeling pretty confident right now.
Nah, there's that GX marker flip. A little bit late, but we take those.
We got it.
we're there. The Zoroark that you see on screen, really not able to stand up to anything. It's nice, it's beautiful artwork, but we see why you evolve them into Zoroark. Just looking across those attacks, you know that, hey, Zoroark's the one you want, and yeah, don't try and attack with Zorua, kids. If you're at home watching and you're wondering, hey, that's a cool card, it looks great, yeah, just evolve it as soon as you can.
So I was just about to mention that card. Actually, we have not seen any Enhanced Hammer played on Chris's side, which would discard the Rainbow Energy or any DCEs, and he just opted to trade the one hammer he drew. So curious on that. I could have slowed down Kid just a little bit, and we're getting another Zoroark GX out. We're getting up to 150 damage.
Yep.
The Weavile has been doing push-ups. He's getting swole. He's ready to take out some Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, at this rate, he's in a great position to do so, especially if Kid has access to, again, Guzma, Chase Band. The Tapu Lele is really easy to knock out at that point. It's one of those cards that's so valuable for its ability, but its rest of its kit is not underwhelming, but not what you buy it for.
I do see an Ace Roll and a Puzzle of Time off the trade. I just don't see how Chris can do this. I think at this point he sticks with the 2 Zoroarks, and he just Ace Roller chains at this point.
Yep.
That's literally it.
But the problem is he needs the win. He's now down to, what, 11 minutes? And he needs to get a win here to keep this...
Yep.
Get points out of this game. I mean, I'd rather take home 1 match point than 0 match points.
Fair enough.
So
we are going to see a Ridus beating this turn. 100 damage going on to the active Zoroark GX on Kid's side. Let's see if he pulls it out all here in 1 turn. Choice Band Guzma for game.
Well, leave him on 1 prize and pretty much.
One prize.
Pretty much the game at that point. Like, what's he going to do? Trade back for the Weavile and just keep himself in that awkward position that he's in.
So Kid has a Cynthia in hand, so I'm curious if he's going to trade first and then Cynthia, but it looks like he's just opting to Ultra Ball what looks to be 2 Bridget out of his hand and probably add Weavile to the bench.
Well, there's no use for them now. He's got his board set up off 1, so the other 2 may as well. I mean, if that's what he's throwing away, then his trade fodder must be absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Still searching through his deck. I'm sure he's looking for the Weave Out, but he's probably looking for all of his last final cards in his deck to kind of figure out what's left for him that he needs to win this game.
And make sure it's all in there, so when he needs a choice band, he doesn't start digging with trade just to discover there was no choice band in there. Yeah, really important knowledge of the deck there from Kid.
So he's grabbing a Zorua. And I know he has Cynthia in hand, so I'm curious if he just kind of did the search to just kind of look through his deck a little more and just grab a Zora just because? Or is he assuming that this Zora's going to get knocked out next turn? Let me have a Zorua ready. Nope, he just trades a Zorua away. And here comes the second trade. Wow, and he has double puzzle now. So this could be the Guzma choice band play that we were just talking about.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want, isn't it? It's a rarity when you trade for 2 puzzles. When you get it, you're like, you feel good about yourself.
So I'm curious if he does it this turn, though.
You thinking he's going to use it as a closer?
I would wait as a closer because if you get rid of the Weavile, and now you have a Damazorg GX, and your Weavile about to go away from an easy knockout from Riotous Beating. So I'm not sure. Well, he's going for it.
Well, he's pulling the cards for it. Doesn't mean he's playing it, but it does mean he's ready to...
he's doing it. He's going for the play.
I mean, he's putting himself within 1 prize of winning the game, and I do struggle to argue with that as a piece of logic.
I don't know. I just know that his Weavile's about to get knocked out.
I mean, if
Zorg GX comes back up, but yeah, it's a lot of different things.
I mean, we'd also have the fact that if this Zorua isn't evolved and Kid has a way to get his hands on him in the next game,
there's Zorg GX.
Yeah, then he's kind of in trouble, but we'll have the opportunity to evolve it. Really, really helpful there for Chris.
Really can't bench anything else though, for the fact that he, if he evolves that Zorg, the Zora to a Zorg GX, that puts 150 down very easily, and anything else he puts down is gonna be a knockout. So he didn't evolve the Zorua.
It's interesting to me. He is gonna try and buy a little time, I think, with.
Well, I believe if Kid has another Guzma in hand, that is game.
Right.
He's about to lose. He's about to KO this Zorg GX. Chris takes his first prize of the game. And
he has Tapu Lele in hand.
Yep. So if there's another Guzma in the deck, we'll see Kid with a nice swift 2-0. Doing a little count before he wastes the Lele.
Yeah, I mean, you may as well. Here we go. As long as it's not his last prize.
There it is.
There's Guzma. And there's Zorua knocked out. And Kid Stark taking this one after a sluggish start in Game 1.
Yeah.
Comfortable play in the back end of Game 1 and Game 2.
Game 2, even with the Shining Genesect start, he just, grinded his way to a, great board state and just kind of held his own throughout the whole turn, all the turns.
Yeah.